from WDTN, the station that's working for you. This is 2 News at 10 on Dayton CW.
Strong storms in the Miami Valley today, plus the potential start of the first heat wave of the summer.
And with storms ripping through the Miami Valley earlier today, residents are now picking up the pieces. Good evening, I'm Dana Smith. Rain and hail made an appearance on a hot day in the Miami Valley. Let's head over to Storm Team 2 meteorologist Melissa Barrington for a first check of your forecast.
And this evening, Live Doppler 2 HD still has some active weather on it right now. Most locations are dry, unlike what we were earlier this afternoon, this evening. But you can see here that we do have a few nasty storms here in Logan County and Auglaize County, just working their way slowly southward, and they have produced some damaging winds as well as some large hail and very heavy downpours. So just be aware of that if you are in the vicinity of these storms. Again, in Logan and Auglaize County, they are not severe, but again, the storms kind of have popped up and they're definitely causing some issues up there with lightning as well. Most of Miami Valley is dry though, and we did see some very heavy rainfall earlier this evening within some of those storms. Brookville, you had the most at 2.13 inches. Huntsville, 1.85, and then over here in our eastern viewing area, actually you didn't really get much of anything, and then 1/3 of an inch in Springboro. For the next several hours, we're expecting most locations to stay dry, but there's still a slim chance of an isolated shower or storm. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Father's Day forecast.
All right, thanks, Melissa. Here's a video sent in by a 2 News viewer of hail falling in Brookville. As you can see, the hail is bouncing off the car, the driveway, and the street. Thanks so much to Sean for sharing this with us. And here's more video sent in by another 2 News viewer. You can see the rain causing flooding at the intersection of Webster and Boulder in North Dayton. Thanks goes out to Chad for sharing this with us. And when you see weather happening, be sure to report it on WDTN.com or through the 2 News app. Be sure to include your name and location. And that slow-moving storm left a lot of damage across the Miami Valley. 2 News reporter Judith Ratana has a look at the aftermath as part of our team coverage.
A lot of cleanup efforts happening tonight as a result of that storm. Germantown is one of the places especially hit hard today.
A warm and sunny day quickly turns wet after heavy rains come down on the Miami Valley. On Market Street in Germantown, the storm was strong enough to bring down the limbs of this tree. Marjorie Batten says she saw the limbs hit a passing car.
Here come this car and heard the noise.
Limbs from this tree are now spread over the sidewalk and into the street. Batten has some damage in her backyard too.
My chair blew over. My broken bird feeder scattered.
Batten's neighborhood wasn't the only place hit. This is a strip mall in Germantown. Large pieces, once belonging to a roof, now spread out across the parking lot. Winds in Germantown also strong enough to bring down this tree on Astoria Lane. Over on Frederick Pike in Harrison Township, cones are now set up after a large branch falls on top of a power line. Power lines also an issue back in Germantown. Part of a street is blocked off after another large branch topples over a power line. The home stuck behind the branch belongs to Batten's son.
He's been renovating it for several months now, and so sorry for him.
While there's plenty of damage to go around, Batten is glad she was indoors when the storm rolled in.
Oh, was I? Yes. I was in fact looking to see where I could go for better shelter, maybe in the basement.
Now, if you see any trees toppled over power lines in your area, it's important to call police immediately and steer clear of that area. Judith Ratana, 2 News, working for you.
Thanks so much, Judith. And to stay weather aware while you're on the go for Father's Day weekend, just download the 2 News weather app. It's free in your phone's app store. New information as we now know the name of the person killed in last night's motorcycle crash in Butler Township. The Montgomery County Coroner's Office has identified the victim as 52-year-old Timothy Ashburn of Inglewood. The Ohio State Highway Patrol says Ashburn crashed into a power pole on Frederick Pike. The crash remains under investigation. We have a Crime Stoppers alert to pass along tonight. Dayton police say 4 suspects broke into the Boost Mobile store on West 3rd Street just before 5 this morning. According to reports, the suspects used a rock to break through a front window. They rummaged around before taking off with a laptop. Now, this is the second time the store has been targeted this year. If you have any information about this incident, call Crime Stoppers at 222-STOP. All tips remain anonymous. Dayton police are moving 2 of their mobile speed cameras. The 2 trailers that are currently in the Stanley Avenue and Troy Street area will be moved to Harshman Road near Eastwood Lake next week. There is no warning period for the trailers, so police are telling drivers to please slow down. Well, the rain didn't stop the city of Miamisburg from celebrating their bicentennial. Kids enjoyed the new water feature at Riverfront Park during the celebration, marking the 200th anniversary of Miamisburg's founding. One longtime resident we spoke with says he was looking forward to the week's celebrations.
The mayor does a great job, and there are so many good restaurants and breweries in the area, and people come from all around Dayton to Miamisburg, which is great. I've lived in Miamisburg for 27 years, and it's a good place to be.
The celebration today kicks off a full week of events honoring the city. An actor from the movie Memphis Belle paid a visit to the special plane at the National Museum of the Air Force today. Actor Matthew Modine viewed the exhibit and signed autographs for fans. The actor played the role of one of the pilots on the plane in the 1990 movie based on the historic plane. Modine's uncle was a B-17 pilot during World War II, and the actor wore his uncle's uniform and bomber jacket in the film.
The weight of that jacket and the sense of responsibility to all those people who lost their lives in these planes in the Second World War weighed heavily on all of us, and so we wanted to all do our best to make it into something that was special.
It was his first time seeing the plane fully restored. Parents separated from their children at the U.S.-Mexico border. Why the Attorney General is invoking a Bible verse to justify the administration's immigration policy. Plus, we're learning new information after the shooting of 2 deputies transporting inmates in Kansas City. We're learning new information about the Kansas City deputies who were shot while transporting inmates. The second Kansas City Sheriff's deputy who suffered gunshot wounds has died. 2 deputies were carrying out a routine transport for a court hearing on Friday when an inmate attacked them and opened fire. Authorities believe the prisoner wrestled with the officers and got one of their guns in the process. 35-year-old Officer Patrick Rohr died shortly after the shooting took place, while Deputy Teresa King died early this morning. As controversy continues to swirl over the president's anti-illegal immigration policy of separating children and parents, it's still full steam ahead for the government. The Trump administration is building a tent city as it continues its sweep of illegal immigrants. Gaddy Schwartz reports on this developing story.
They're building tent cities near the border, a necessary step as the Trump administration's hardline immigration policy has had its intended effect. Thousands of migrants swept up, detained after both illegal and legal border crossings, many of them children. 2,000 already separated from their parents in the last 6 weeks, housed in a former Walmart or small group homes like this one in San Diego.
If a family has both boys and girls as children, then the siblings are separated. The girls live in a different facility, the boys live here.
It's not just near the border where you can see this story playing out. On a porch in Chicago, some 2,000 miles from the Tijuana border crossing, where Maritza Delgado entered the U.S. seeking asylum, her family now awaits a hearing, and every day they wait for this call. Maritza's 18-year-old daughter on the phone, separated from her mother and sisters and detained in California for more than a month.
They haven't told her when she might be able to get out or when she might be able to see her mom again.
The family entered the country with that migrant caravan, legally asking for asylum at a U.S. port of entry. She says gangs tortured and killed her father.
They found him in the field and that he had been decapitated.
A return home, they say, would be certain death. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said this week fear of gangs is no longer a reason to be granted safe haven here, using Bible verse to justify the administration's new immigration practices.
I would cite you to the Apostle Paul and his clear and wise command in Romans 13 to obey the laws of the government because God has ordained the government for his purposes.
That was Gotti Schwartz reporting. Well, a chase is afoot. You won't believe how an Arizona trooper caught a suspect running on the highway.
And the heat intensifies for Father's Day. And what is the risk of more storms? We'll have a look at your complete Storm Team 2 forecast just ahead.
An outing for the family to celebrate fatherhood took place today. It's an example of what's working in Dayton. The Montgomery County Department of Jobs and Family Services hosted its Celebrate Fatherhood event. Officials designed the event to honor the important role fathers play in children's lives. It featured contests, arts and crafts, music, and more for families to enjoy.
Some fathers are doing a good job and they don't get a lot of appreciation. There are also a lot of fathers that maybe are struggling a little bit and don't know how to be engaged with their kids because maybe they were never shown. So we want to give them a boost and let them know that, they can really come out and get some information, get that appreciation. And again, it's also to show the kids, not only the sons, but also the daughters, how important fatherhood is.
Nice, and if you missed it today, don't worry. The event continues tomorrow at 10 a.m. New at 10, a trooper dives over a fence to catch a suspect. A police chase in Arizona continued when the suspect lost control of his car and spun out. He got out of the car and fled on foot. That's what you're seeing now. That's not so unusual, and he probably thought he had the upper hand when he climbed a fence, except he probably wasn't expecting this: the trooper to jump headfirst over that fence after him. Within seconds, the suspect was caught. Caught on camera, a volcano in southwestern Japan erupted violently this morning. The massive eruption sent smoke more than 15,000 feet in the air. The ash covered roads, vehicles, and houses, with some people wearing masks to protect themselves. Officials warn of ash and lava flows within about a mile of the explosion. There's new stunning video of a river of lava flowing on the Big Island of Hawaii. The Hawaii National Guard released these images showing lava as it continues to flow from the volcano. Lava fountains have been gushing up to 130 feet in the air, with bursts up to 180 feet. Friday marked the 5th day in a row there was an earthquake above a 5-point magnitude at the summit. Experts are forecasting a heavier layer of air pollution from the eruption to blanket parts of the island.
Live Doppler 2 HD at this hour still has a few thunderstorms, mainly in our extreme northern viewing area. Up in Logan and Auglaize County, you can see a couple of thunderstorms here trying to push their way in and may affect you around Wapakoneta here, for example, is just to the north of you along I-75 and also to the north of Russell's Point. Russell's Point, you've already seen some rough weather tonight with some trees down and also some very heavy rain, and it looks like another round is going to be affecting you rather shortly. Lots of vivid lightning, and these are slow-moving storms. And also in parts of Logan County, we've also had some reports of flooding as well from storms that previously went through there. Otherwise, the other story that we are continuing to monitor is the heat. Look at the high temperatures that we saw today across parts of the Central Plains and through the South and the Midwest. 89 in Chicago, 97 in Omaha, 96 in Memphis, and 92 in Birmingham. We were at 90 degrees here, and see the heat that's just to the west of us? That's going to push towards us for the next couple of days, so it's going to be even hotter than what we saw today. Currently 75 here in Dayton, but we are lucky because we saw that rainfall, so that allowed us to cool off, whereas folks to the west of us didn't see any rain, and they're actually quite a bit warmer, where it's still 87 in Chicago. That's pretty nasty, and 89 in St. Louis as well as in Omaha. So it's very warm out there. And then you factor in the heat indices and you can see it still feels like 85 in Indianapolis, and it feels like 91 in Chicago and 90 in Evansville. So tomorrow we will be dealing with heat indices once again. Today we saw a high temperature of 90 degrees, and once you get 3 days in a row of 90-degree weather, that's considered a heat wave. So today is day one, and it looks like we may be looking at our first heat wave of the season. Then you factor in the humidity, and over the next 4 days, the humidity is going to be oppressive. If you didn't like today, you're definitely not going to like tomorrow or the next 3 days after that, because the humidity is actually going to be worse. Now, tomorrow it is Father's Day, and if you are having outdoor activities tomorrow, just be sure that you are prepared for that heat and the humidity. Take a break or two, go inside, or be sure that you drink plenty of water. It's going to be hot, humid, and we're expecting highs in the lower 90s. Future track here shows that things pretty much quiet down during the overnight hours, and we're really not expecting any more in the form of rainfall. Tomorrow, once again, there could be a spotty shower or storm, hopefully not as widespread as what we saw earlier this afternoon. The main story for tomorrow will be the heat, with high temperatures once again reaching well into the 90s across most of the Buckeye State, Indiana, and Illinois, and stretching southward. Same thing occurs on Monday as well. We won't see any break from the heat, and we'll see a slight break in the heat come Tuesday. So tonight, down to about 70 degrees, mainly clear skies, and it's going to be pretty warm and muggy. And then tomorrow into the low 90s, mostly sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow with heat indices tomorrow afternoon, mid to upper 90s to around 100 degrees. So again, take it easy outside. You want to make sure that you check on your pets and check on the elderly, because it is going to be very hot tomorrow afternoon. And then after Tuesday, we get a little bit of a break here with highs in the mid 80s and better chances of rain.
It's feeling like a tropical island out there.
Yes. So we go today, then Sunday, Monday, we have a heat wave officially.
Oh, wow.
So this may be the first one of the season.
Wow, so like you said, drink plenty of water, check on the pets, check on grandma and grandpa.
Exactly.
And if you're out tomorrow for Father's Day, just like you said, go back inside for a few hours.
Yeah, and if you're at the pool, make sure you drink a lot and reapply the sunscreen.
Oh, good point. Sunscreen, very important. Thanks so much, Melissa. Well, after the break, Phil Mickelson might be at the bottom of the U.S. Open leaderboard, but he's getting a lot of attention. Hutch has more on that ahead in 2 Sports.
Two Sports, powered by Ford.
Lack of timely hitting continues to doom the Reds in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Cincy stranded 10 base runners, and in the last 2 games, the Redlegs are 0-19 with runners in scoring position. The Pirates earning their first series victory in more than a month, trailing 1-0. Eugenio Suarez leads off the second inning with a blast to center. His 13th home run of the season extends his hitting streak to 7 games. Starter Luis Castillo, the beneficiary of some good defense in the bottom of the frame. Scott Schebler going to make the nice running catch to rob Elias Diaz. Schebler made it look easy, but that's a web gem for sure. The Buccos retake the lead in the third when Colin Moran takes Castillo deep. The right-hander gives up 2 long balls in this game, and he leads the National League with 17 home runs allowed. Cincy's only other run coming in the 9th when Brandon Dixon swats his first major league home run, but that was about the only highlight for the Reds. They fall to the Pirates 6-2. Sunday's 1:35 finale features Anthony DeSclafani versus Joe Musgrove. For the second straight night, the Dragons are on the losing end in West Michigan. They fall to the Whitecaps 9-4 with one game remaining in the first half of the season. Dayton's record is 31-36. The trials of Shinnecock continue. After 3 rounds of the 118th U.S. Open, not a single player is at or under par. It's the first time that's been the case for the USGA event in 11 years. A picture-perfect day in the Hamptons, but some of the shots, anything but pretty. On the 13th green, Phil Mickelson causing a stir on his 48th birthday after putting past the hole. Lefty going to run to the ball and putt it again while it's still moving. You can't do that. A penalty results in a quintuple bogey 9. Mickelson plus 17 for the tourney. Tony Finau carding the best round of the day. Finau, the birdie putt on 18 gives him a share of the lead at 3 over. Dustin Johnson's 4-stroke advantage evaporated on number 2. The bogey putt is off the mark. His first 3-putt of the tourney. Johnson finishes the day with a 7 over 77. Add to the mix last year's champion Brooks Koepka. Here on number 11, the 28-year-old Floridian nearly sticks his tee shot, but he'll settle for birdie. Koepka with a round of 2 over 72. Daniel Berger sharing the best round of 66 with Tony Finau. It's a 4-way tie atop the leaderboard. Justin Rose is 1 stroke off the pace at 4 over. For not being in contention, Phil Mickelson garnered all of the post-round attention.
It's just part of the U.S. Open. It's just funny, and I don't mean it disrespectful. So I hope nobody's, if you're taking it that way, look, I'm sorry, that's not the way it's meant. I just wanted to get to the next hole, and I didn't see that happening at the time without the 2 shots.
I mean, sometimes you just wave the white flag and surrender,
Yeah, what a rough day in golf. Oh, well. Well, hey, after the break, Melissa has an updated look at your Storm Team 2 forecast. And Melissa is here with a final check of the forecast.
And there's still a couple of storms out there tonight around Logan and Auglaize counties, but those should start to wind down. And then tomorrow we're going to see that intense heat once again with high humidity, a very slim chance of an isolated shower or storm. Most locations tomorrow for Father's Day should remain dry, and the heat continues Monday and much of next week.
Any plans for Father's Day? Golf?
My husband, he's already planning on watching the U.S. Open on TV.
Well, hey, at least he'll be inside with the AC on.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
I mean, it's like 90 degrees.
Smart man.
Hutch and I were saying not exactly good outdoor weather for sports, but, you know, hey, drink plenty of water tomorrow, guys, and happy Father's Day. Thanks for watching 2 News at 10.